Jesus talked about how you should pray. I'm not going to turn this into a theological conversation, but what I'm saying is she has her reward. Whatever that is, because Donald Trump still, he didn't win. But we got to understand that this is a spiritual fight, right? And you can't fight in the spirit out on the main stage because nobody sees what's happening in the spirit. It's can you see anything around me but me? Except for I ain't talking about the walls and the ceiling and the lights. I'm saying, do you see any other figures but me? No, you don't. Because your physical eye, you can't bring to a spiritual fight what it is that's physical. All right. Let me get back to this article. Trump has the right to mount legal challenges, but he should be clear that these are Hail Mary passes, said John Yoo, a former legal advisor to George W. Bush administration. Several lawsuits by the Trump administration are underway in 6 battleground states that Democratic President-elect Joe Biden won closely. One challenge has successfully triggered a full vote recount in Georgia, where Biden led by 14,000 of nearly 5 million votes cast and 99% of the expected vote count. Let me stop again. So, what does it look like when they recount these votes and Biden still wins them? Does Trump now come and say, "I concede, congratulations, President-elect Biden"? And then here's another thing. Notice that the votes that Trump and some Republicans want recounted, notice that they're good enough for the Senate and the Republican race. Those same ballots are good enough for that, but they need to be recounted for the presidential election when they're all on the same ballot. Now, when I voted, it wasn't no separate ballot from the Senate race and the presidential race. It was on the same paper. So how is it then that, well, let me not speak out of turn. Maybe they are recounting everything. Maybe everybody that got voted in Georgia, maybe don't get comfortable. Maybe, because how can you just count? It's the same ballot, right? Yeah, I'm looking around like somebody gonna answer me. But yeah, it's the same ballot. So how can those votes count? Or how were they counted properly? But those weren't counted properly, but it's on the same ballot. That doesn't make any sense. Somebody must have asked that question already because that's too simple. That's too easy, right? Okay. Several lawsuits are underway in 6 battleground states that Democratic President. Did I read that? I already read that. Okay. None of these cases really look like they have a very high probability of winning, you said. On the other hand, I think that Trump has every right to demand that all states be sure about the votes so that we have confidence in the election. But I'll say, looking at the past cases, these are very hard cases to prove, and generally, they don't result in changes in the vote totals on the order which President Trump lost to Joe Biden. That's all I'm going to read of that because it's getting more irritating as I go. But here's the deal, folks. I didn't know, I honestly didn't know who would win. pre-COVID, I thought that Donald Trump would win the presidency. I did. Once this all how the coronavirus was handled, the conversation surrounding it, the whether or not he had it or not, or whether it was a fluke or not, all of that stuff. After that, then I thought, man, I don't know who's going to win. And check it though. Here's what's crazy. There are still millions of people that voted for this man. So that's a clear picture of how divided our country is, even when somebody can be that foolish at the helm. And so I'm getting ready to say something controversial. It wouldn't be me if I didn't do it. But this is what it boils down to. And I told y'all this before. They don't want a black person nowhere close to being president. Now we can argue about whether Kamala Harris is black or mixed, or black with what, or mixed with what. We can go back and forth with that. But at the end of the day, when you see her on the street and you didn't know her, you would say, "Oh, that's a black woman." And that's what they don't want. So that's what it is. Ain't nobody gonna tell you, but I'm gonna be real with you all the time. She too close. She too close to the presidency. Joe already don't look good. Although now, the day of the victory speech, Joe looked real good. Whatever he did that day, I think because he slept. That was probably his first night sleeping in 8 months. Because he did look a little younger. He ran out there. I said, look at young Joe. But anyway. She will be a heartbeat away from the presidency. And here it is. This is the oldest president that in history that we would have ever elected as president. So if you Trump, you on this ego trip, you like, man, not only am I losing to the oldest guy to ever win, but it's quite possible that I'm the reason that there's going to be a black woman, or there may be a black woman president. Now, success leaves clues. What do I mean? I mean, if somebody is successful at something, if somebody follows their blueprint, then chances are they'll be successful as well. So I'm just going to say it no matter how I feel about it. We had a black president, right? Okay. So after the Trump fiasco, now we got the potential to have a woman, not just a black woman or mixed woman, but a woman president, a woman vice president. Like, for real? So now, okay, so we had a black man, minority. Then now a woman, minority. Black woman, double minority. Don't you think that eventually we're going to have a black president? Like, success leaves clues. Barack was successful. Kamala is successful. So now the next black person, and they might be fully black, or the next woman, success leaves clues. So now the next person might be black or might be a woman. And now, because Donald Trump, the way you handle things, we can thank you for that. And I know he hates that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Prior to this, I thought we would never have a black president. And I definitely thought we would never have a woman president. But as much as he tried to undermine Obama and discredit his presidency, man, the way history is going to remember Donald Trump's presidency, we ain't never heard tell of. We've never seen. In 20 years, when you sit down and watch that documentary called The Presidents, when they start all the way from George Washington and come all the way to whoever will be president 20 years from now. But when they stop right here in 2016 to 2020, they're going to say this. Now, the funny thing is, this President Trump, he resembles the presidents of the 1700s. Just didn't have no slaves on the field. Let me stop. It's the Mike Brown Morning Show. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere.